Have you ever gazed out your window, imagining far-off lands, whispering your name, only to wonder if the call to adventure still rings true after 70? The thought of stepping into vibrant markets buzzing with unfamiliar tongues, tasting exotic spices that dance on your tongue, or marveling at ancient ruins bathed in golden sunlight can stir the soul with a thrill that feels timeless. For many seniors, travel promises a chance to weave new threads into the rich tapestry of their lives, memories to cherish in the quiet moments of retirement. Yet beneath this shimmering allure lies a shadowed truth, one that too often remains hidden until it's too late. The journey after 70 carries risks that can transform a dream into a nightmare. As the years pile on, our bodies and minds shift in ways we can't always predict or control. What once felt like a carefree jaunt, bounding off plains, hiking winding trails, or savoring late-night conversations in bustling cafes, becomes a test of endurance, a gamble with stakes higher than we might imagine. The energy that fueled those youthful escapades fades, replaced by a fragility that can turn even the simplest trip into an exhausting, unpredictable, and sometimes perilous ordeal. While some dismiss these changes, clinging to the belief they can travel with the same vigor as decades past, the reality is starkly different. After 70, the challenges of travel don't just whisper, they roar, threatening to unravel a long-anticipated vacation into a tangle of stress, danger, and regret. In this journey of words, we're about to peel back the curtain on 5 critical reasons why traveling after 70 can be a roll of the dice, one that demands far more than a passport and a packed suitcase. From the sudden grip of a health crisis in a foreign land to the quiet drain of hidden financial traps, each reason shines a light on the obstacles seniors face when they venture beyond their familiar horizons. By the time we reach the end, you'll see why travel at this stage of life isn't just a matter of desire. It's a decision that requires careful thought, meticulous planning, and a sober look at the risks. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the final revelation, because the last reason on our list is a silent thief, one that sneaks up on countless seniors, robbing them of money, time, and peace of mind without them ever seeing it coming. So, settle in and let's embark on this exploration together. Number 1. Increased health risks and medical emergencies. Picture this. You're strolling along a sun-dappled pier, the sea breeze tugging at your hair, when a sharp pain stabs through your chest. At home, your doctor's office is a quick call away, the routine familiar and comforting. But now, you're thousands of miles from that safety net, in a place where the language feels like a riddle and the nearest hospital is a mystery. For seniors over 70, this isn't just a fleeting worry, it's a looming possibility. As we age, our bodies become less forgiving, more prone to rebellion. Conditions like heart disease, high blood pressure, or fragile lungs, which might simmer quietly at home, can flare into emergencies with little warning when thrust into the chaos of travel. The statistics paint a sobering picture. Older adults are far more likely to face sudden health crises, and travel amplifies the danger. Long flights, stretching across hours of cramped seats and stale air, can coax blood clots, deep vein thrombosis into forming, especially in legs that no longer circulate as they once did. High altitudes, whether on a plain or in a mountain village, press against hearts and lungs already strained by time. Even the simple act of stepping into a new climate, blazing heat or biting cold, can tip the scales, leaving seniors vulnerable to dehydration or heat exhaustion that strikes harder and lingers longer than it did in their youth. And then there's the wild card: infections. New bacteria and viruses, harmless to locals, can ambush an aging immune system, turning a minor sniffle into a battle for recovery. Let's meet James Carter, a 74-year-old retiree with a mop of silver hair and a laugh that could warm a room. He'd always been the adventurous type. Decades of hiking trails and city hopping with his wife, Margaret, had filled their home with photos and stories. When they booked a 2-week cruise along the Mediterranean, James saw it as a gentle way to keep exploring. No endless walking, just the sway of the ship and ports to savor at their leisure. Margaret had worried about his heart. He'd had a scare a few years back, but James waved it off, insisting the sea air would do him good. 4 days in, as the ship glided past a sapphire coast, he clutched his chest, his breath shallow and ragged. The ship's medic, a young man with a clipboard and limited tools, could only offer aspirin and a stretcher. Stranded in the middle of the ocean, they waited hours for a helicopter to whisk him to a coastal hospital. Margaret sat by his side, her hands trembling as she whispered prayers, while James drifted in and out of a haze. He survived, barely, but the memory of that chopper ride, blades slicing the sky as panic gripped them both, haunted him long after. What was meant to be a serene escape became a brush with mortality he'd never shake. Then there's the insurance trap. James, like so many seniors, assumed his regular health plan would follow him across borders. He was wrong. In that foreign hospital, the bills piled up, thousands of dollars for tests, oxygen, and a bed he barely remembered lying in. Many seniors discover too late that their coverage stops at the water's edge, leaving them exposed to staggering costs. Emergency evacuations, like the one that saved James, can climb into the tens of thousands, and without the right travel insurance, it's a debt that can shadow retirement for years. Even basic care, antibiotics, a doctor's visit, can balloon into expenses that drain savings meant for quieter days. So what can you do if the wanderlust still tugs at your heart? Start with a candid talk with your doctor, not just a nod and a prescription, but a deep dive into your health. Stress tests, medication adjustments, the works. Research your destination's healthcare system. Is there a hospital nearby? Can you trust the water? Pack your meds with extras, just in case a flight delay strands you. And above all, secure comprehensive travel insurance, coverage that blankets medical emergencies, hospital stays, and evacuations. It's not glamorous, but it's the shield between a memorable trip and a catastrophe. Because when it comes to health after 70, preparation isn't just wise. It's the difference between coming home with stories or not coming home at all. Number 2, increased exposure to infections and contaminants. Imagine stepping off a plane into a bustling airport, the air thick with the hum of voices and the shuffle of feet. You're eager to taste the world. Street food sizzling on a vendor's cart, a cool drink from a local cafe, but what you don't see are the invisible threats swirling around you. For seniors over 70, travel isn't just a feast for the senses. It's a gauntlet of germs, viruses, and contaminants that prey on a body less equipped to fight back. What might be a fleeting cough or an upset stomach for a younger traveler can spiral into a grueling ordeal for an older adult, one that lingers far beyond the trip's end. As we age, our immune system dims, its once sharp defenses dulled by time. Crowded terminals, packed planes, and bustling train stations become breeding grounds for illness, places where bacteria and viruses thrive, carried by hands, breath, and surfaces touched by thousands. A single sneeze in recycled cabin air can introduce a cold or flu strain your body's never met. And for seniors, these aren't just annoyances. Studies reveal that older adults face a higher risk of complications from respiratory infections, like pneumonia, especially when exposed to unfamiliar pathogens far from home. Even a minor bug can escalate, demanding hospital beds and oxygen masks instead of souvenirs and postcards. Then there's the culinary gamble. Trying new foods is a travel rite. Spices that bloom with heat, fruits bursting with juice. But for seniors, it's a roll of the dice. In distant lands, water teeming with local bacteria can turn a sip into a siege on your stomach. Salads rinsed in tap water, ice clinking in a glass, or street food cooked in questionable conditions can unleash norovirus, E. coli, or salmonella. Names that sound clinical until they're wrenching you awake at night. For 72-year-old Clara Nguyen, a retired teacher with a passion for global cuisines, this lesson hit hard. On a trip to Southeast Asia, she couldn't resist a vibrant market stall, its skewers of meat glistening under the sun. Hours later, doubled over in her hotel room, she battled waves of nausea and dehydration that left her weak for days. What locals shrugged off as a rite of passage, her body couldn't handle, and the trip she'd saved for became a blur of misery instead of delight. Public spaces amplify the risk. Hotel doorknobs, rental car steering wheels, and airplane tray tables, shiny on the surface, teeming underneath, harbor germs that linger long after the last wipe down. For seniors relying on canes or walkers, every touch point is a potential transfer, a handshake with contamination they can't outrun. Clara, who used a cane after a knee surgery, didn't think twice about gripping a railing in that humid market until the stomach bug traced its way back to her hands. It's a silent hazard, one that turns adventure into vulnerability. How can seniors shield themselves? It's a dance of vigilance. Masks in tight crowds, hands scrubbed raw or slick with sanitizer, water only from sealed bottles. Skip the raw oysters and roadside salads for steaming plates of well-cooked fare. Vaccines, flu, pneumonia, whatever your destination demands, become non-negotiable, as do packets of meds for the what-ifs. Antidiarrheals, antivirals, a lifeline in a foreign pharmacy. Clara learned the hard way, but her next trip came with a satchel of precautions and a healthier return. Travel can still beckon, but after 70, it demands a guard up and a plan in place, because the cost of letting it down can steal more than your vacation? If these insights are striking a chord, drop number 2 in the comments. I'd love to know you're with me. Health risks like these are daunting, but they're not the whole story. Another challenge waits. One that saps not just your body, but your spirit. Number 3, travel fatigue and recovery challenges. Close your eyes and picture the thrill of a trip unfolding. The hum of a jet engine, the blur of a new skyline, the promise of stories to tell. Now imagine stepping off that plane, legs stiff, eyes gritty, and a weariness sinking into your bones that no coffee can shake. For seniors over 70, travel isn't just an adventure, it's a marathon, one that taxes a body no longer wired for quick rebounds. What used to end with a nap and a fresh start now stretches into days or weeks of exhaustion, a shadow that dims the joy of exploration. The culprits are many. Long flights cram you into seats that pinch and prod, leaving muscles cramped and joints swollen. Early check-ins drag you from bed before dawn, while shifting time zones scramble your internal clock. Hours of walking through airports, up cobblestone streets, past endless museum exhibits, pile on a fatigue that clings like damp clothes. Unlike the 30-year-old who bounces back with a good night's sleep, a senior's recovery is a slow crawl. Sleep itself becomes elusive. Unfamiliar beds creak, hotel walls echo with strange noises, and jet lag stretches across days, leaving you dazed when you should be dazzled. Science backs this up. Studies show older adults take longer to adjust to time shifts, their bodies resisting the rhythm of new places. Meet Richard Ellis, a 75-year-old widower with a mop of white hair and a suitcase full of dreams. After losing his wife, Ellen, he vowed to keep traveling. Their shared love of the world was a bond he couldn't let go. A 2-week jaunt to London and Paris seemed perfect. History to soak in, tea to sip, romance to chase in her memory. But the 10-hour flight, a maze of Heathrow's terminals, and a 6-hour time jump hit him like a freight train. By day 2, his legs ached from Westminster's steps, his mind fogged during a Louvre tour, and his usual spark dimmed. He napped on benches while others snapped photos. And when he finally adjusted, the trip was over. Back home, he spent weeks on the couch, not reliving memories, but recovering from them, a bittersweet echo of what travel once was. Diet and hydration falter too. Airport food, greasy, rushed, upset stomachs used to routine. Water slips your mind amid the chaos, and dehydration creeps in, clouding thoughts and sapping strength. For Richard, skipping his usual oatmeal for a croissant left him queasy, and forgetting his water bottle turned a sunny walk into a dizzy stumble. Fatigue doesn't just tire you, it weakens immunity, dulls reflexes, and courts illness or injury, a domino effect that can unravel a trip's promise. The fix: pace yourself like a seasoned storyteller, not a sprinter. Book rest days, lazy mornings with no agenda. Opt for shorter flights with layovers to stretch. Pack snacks that steady you, and nap without guilt. Richard's next trip, a train ride to a nearby coast, came with lighter bags and looser plans, and he returned smiling, not drained. After 70, travel can still sing, but it's a slower tune, one that respects the body's tempo and honors its limits. Because a vacation should lift you up, not wear you out. Number 4. Higher risk of falls and injuries. Step into a scene. You're wandering a charming old town, the cobblestones gleaming under a soft drizzle, the air alive with the scent of fresh bread and history. It's the kind of moment you dreamed of, until your foot catches an uneven stone and the world tilts. For seniors over 70, this isn't just a stumble to laugh off. It's a pivot point where a trip can fracture into pain, hospital stays, and a long road back. As we age, balance wavers, reflexes slow, and bones thin, turning travel's unpredictable terrain into a minefield of risk. A fall at home might mean a bruise and a story. A fall abroad can rewrite your life. The numbers don't lie. Falls are a leading cause of injury for older adults, and travel amplifies the odds. Hotels with slick tiles, cruise ships swaying with the sea, historic sites with worn steps, all hide hazards that prey on aging bodies. Accessibility often lags. A quaint village might lack ramps. A tour bus might demand a steep climb, and dimly lit alleys can cloak danger in shadow. Fatigue, that relentless travel companion, muddies the mix. Tired legs falter, sleepy eyes miss a curb, and joints stiffened by arthritis protest every move. One misstep can snap a hip, crack a wrist, or worse, stranding you far from the comfort of familiar care. Linda Harper, 78, knew this risk too late. A spry widow with a dancer's grace in her youth, she'd walked her suburban neighborhood daily, her stride steady and sure. Europe beckoned, a lifelong dream of cathedrals and canals, and she arrived in Italy brimming with anticipation. But the medieval streets of Florence, with their steep inclines and ancient stones, weren't her quiet sidewalks. One evening, hurrying to a trattoria under a fading sky, she misjudged a curb in the twilight. Her ankle twisted, her hip slammed the ground, and a sickening crack cut through the chatter of tourists. Pain seared as strangers rushed to help, their Italian a frantic blur she couldn't grasp. At the hospital, surgery loomed, a titanium pin, weeks of immobility, and a flight home cut short. Months later, back in her recliner, Linda traced the scar and mourned not just the trip, but the independence it stole. "I thought I was stronger than I was," she would say, her voice a whisper of regret. The aftermath stings deeper abroad. Emergency services vary. Some places lack the speed or skill of home. And a simple fracture can fester into complications when care lags. Travel's physical demands, lugging bags, trekking to landmarks, pile on, swelling knees and straining backs until a fall feels inevitable. Linda's story echoes in countless others. Seniors who overestimate their footing and pay a price no postcard can offset. To dodge this fate, choose wisely. Seek flat paths, not rugged trails. Hotels with elevators, not charming but treacherous stairs. Sturdy shoes grip better than style, and a walking stick, humble but heroic, steadies the way. Rest often, because exhaustion is a fall's best friend, and know your limits. Linda didn't, and her dream became a cautionary tale. No vista is worth a broken body, no memory worth months in a cast. After 70, travel can still enchant, but it demands respect for the ground beneath your feet. If this resonates, tap number 4 in the comments. I'd love to hear you're still with me. Falls are a stark peril, but another danger lurks, one that hits your wallet as hard as your health. Number 5. Travel insurance and financial risk. Now picture this. You've saved for years. Your nest egg a cushion for a grand escape, a tropical shore, a mountain retreat, a city pulsing with life. But when trouble strikes, that cushion crumbles, and the trip you planned as a reward becomes a financial abyss. For seniors over 70, travel's hidden cost isn't just physical. It's the dollars that vanish when health fails, plans derail, or scams pounce. What starts as a budgeted adventure can balloon into a burden, draining accounts and peace of mind in one fell swoop. The first blow often lands with medical care. A twisted ankle in Paris, a fever in Bangkok, routine at home, ruinous abroad. Most seniors assume their health insurance stretches across borders, but it rarely does. A hospital stay, an ambulance ride, or an airlift to safety can tally tens of thousands, and without travel insurance, it's all out of pocket. George Patel, 76, a frugal accountant with a ledger-sharp mind, learned this the hard way. He'd booked a Caribbean getaway, every penny accounted for, until a scam unraveled it. Online, the resort glowed. White sands, turquoise waves. When he arrived, it was a ghost lot, the booking a fraud. Stranded, he shelled out double for a last-minute hotel, his savings gutted. "I thought I'd checked everything," he'd mutter, staring at receipts that mocked his caution. Cancellations cut deeper still. A sudden cough, a doctor's order to stay put. Life shifts fast after 70, and prepaid flights, cruises, and tours often refuse refunds. Thousands evaporate, uninsured losses that sting retirees on fixed incomes. Then come the scammers, vultures circling seniors they peg as easy marks. Fake cabbies overcharge, street hustlers peddle sham deals, and slick cons swipe card details. George dodged these, but others don't. In 2023 alone, travel scams bled older adults dry. Their trust, a currency thieves banked on. Protection demands diligence. George's next move was a travel insurance policy. Medical, cancellation, the works. Costly, but a lifeline. Book through trusted sites, not flashy pop-ups, and guard your cash. Small bills, locked cards, no strangers near your PIN. Skepticism saves more than thrift. Travel's allure glitters, but after 70, its financial traps can turn a dream into debt. Plan tight, insure smart, and the journey might still shine without breaking the bank. Final thoughts. Take a moment to breathe, to let the weight of what we've uncovered settle in. We've wandered through 5 shadowed corners of travel after 70, each a story of promise tangled with peril, each a mirror reflecting the courage and fragility of this stage of life. From the sudden jolt of a health crisis cutting through a foreign night, to the slow bleed of exhaustion that dims adventure's glow, From the sharp crack of a fall on unfamiliar ground to the quiet theft of infections and financial snares, these are the risks seniors face, often unseen until they strike. Travel, that siren song of retirement, isn't the carefree dance it once was. After 70, it's a tightrope walk, one where the view is breathtaking but the fall is steep. Yet this isn't a tale of surrender. It's a call to rethink the journey. James, clutching his chest on that swaying ship, didn't swear off travel. He learned to chart safer waters. Clara fell by a market's hidden germs, didn't shelve her wanderlust. She packed smarter defenses. Richard, drained by jet lag's haze, didn't abandon his wife's memory. He chose gentler paths. Linda, nursing a broken hip, didn't curse her dreams. She vowed to tread with care next time. And George, scammed but not broken, didn't lock his suitcase forever. He armored his plans. For seniors, travel doesn't have to end. It just has to evolve. Swap the marathon flights for a train ride close to home. The rugged trails for a museum's smooth floors. The risky unknowns for destinations stitched with medical safety nets. Picture a weekend in a nearby town, its quiet streets alive with charm, its clinic a block away, or a cruise with a doctor on call, not a gamble mid-ocean. Travel should spark joy, not dread. It should weave memories, not unravel health or wealth. Ask yourself, is my body ready for the strain? Does my insurance shield me from the unexpected? Is this place kind to my limits? These aren't thrilling questions, but they're the compass that keeps the journey true. Because a life well lived isn't about reckless leaps, but steps that sustain you. At 70 and beyond, longevity isn't just a number. It's the quality of days, the freedom to laugh without worry, the peace of a bank account intact. If skipping that far-flung flight means more mornings with coffee and sunrise, more evenings with loved ones, then the trade-off glows with its own beauty. Travel can still whisper your name, but let it be a whisper you answer with eyes wide open, not a shout that drowns out caution. Thank you for walking this path with me. Your thoughts fuel this conversation. Drop a comment below with one lesson that struck you, one way you'll weave it into your life. Maybe it's James's evacuation, Linda's fall, or George's scam. What lingers with you? Your voice matters, sparking the light that keeps these stories alive. If this journey moved you, hit like, subscribe, and share. Your support builds the bridge to more tales that inform, warn, and inspire. Until next time, travel wisely, live fully, and hold tight to the peace you've earned.